Okay,
Okay.
so let's start. So earlier I was trying to log in with the general user. I told you I will change the password. So I don't have to change the password. I just recalled the password. So how to log in with the general user? Let this current session remain open, and let's log in with the piping user. So there are a couple of general users. Whatever name you see in the list are general users. And if you select, say, you can just type also PIPER. So one is pipe engineer and one is piper. So you have to use this piping user. So the password for this is PIPE pipe, capital pipes caps PIPE. Select the MDB all and click on model. So let's see how little bit different in the interface when the general users logs in. Okay, so you can see this is my general user window. I'm in the piping application. You can see there's no admin tab over here, right? And this is my admin. I go to piping application. Here there is additional admin tab. If you want to check which users you have logged in, you can open tools command window and queue user. So it will give you the current user. You can also check queue MDB. So it will give you current MDB, right? Similarly, I go to my piping user tools. I type the command queue user. So it give me current user is Piper QMDB, gives me MDB all. And at the top, second, just a minute. Sorry, this is little annoying. At the top, you can see it gives information of the current project, project APS, the MDB, all, and the current module. Module is model, everything 3D. So similarly here, you can see it gives information. But to check the user, current user, you have to use this command, q user q mdb. Now, admin tab is not visible here. And another thing is this piping user have limited access to the piping sites only. For example, piping 1, 2, 3, piping area 01, piping area 02, and piping area 03. It can change, it can do changes here, but it cannot go and change civil site. For example, if I try to uh, say delete, let's say, sorry, not cable way. Let me see. It is deleting, trying to delete that electrical database, but it say it is read only access, or it will try to rename it. Rename is not visible. But in the system user window, uh, it can change whatever it likes. For example, it try to change the civil name, just name it 2. So it can rename. Right click rename. So system user has write access to all the databases, but uh, the general user have write access to the limited database which are allotted to him. Okay, so but the general user can see other model as a reference. For example, he can add this electrical area and see other model, but it cannot change that model. Okay, so you can see he can view the model, he can click the model, he can navigate to the model, but he cannot change it. However, he can change the piping model. For example, I can rename this wall, right? So it can rename it. Right click rename. So that's how the access right is defined. If you log in with general user, you have a restricted access of modification only to your concerned department. But you can view, you can take reference from other departments. Now see, I have changed this model. Whenever I change, the hierarchy becomes little bold. The the owner hierarchy and the element which you have changed. For example, try to rename a wall. It becomes bold. The bold hierarchy means you have claimed that hierarchy. Just a minute. Claim means until and unless you are working on this hierarchy, no other user in the same project can modify this hierarchy. Until and unless you release this hierarchy, you have to release the claim that the user cannot start working on it. Okay, so I will come to claim in little while, but since I have made a changes here, as a different user, I will go back to system user and I will check the same branch. Is it reflecting or not? What is the branch number? 100 FW201 in piping area 02. So I will go to piping area 02. So this was my, so valve is not named here. Okay. But here it is named 1515. 100 FW201. This wall number is named here 1515, but it is not visible here. So any other user working in the project will only see the changes when the user saves the work. The one user saves the work. How to save the work? There is a save work button over here. There are many ways you can save work, or in the project tab, you can go and save work, or simply press Control S. Control S is save work. So you save it. Now let's go to another user. This is my system user. Still, he cannot see the changes. So in order to see the changes of another user, you have to do a get work. So here there's a button to get work just beside save work, or you can go to project tab, get work. Sorry. Or you can do a control G. Control G. See, as you can see, as soon as I press control G or get work, I can see the other changes. Okay. Getting it? So one has to save the work. It is not auto save. You have to save the work in regular intervals, or whenever you finish your work, you have to save the work by pressing save, control S, or there is another way. Right click with control press. Click with control press. So without control, this is a different menu. But with control, this power wheel becomes different menu. So here is save work and here is get work. Right. Now let's see, as a system user, I want to change this wall again. I'm trying to rename it and I will name it as 16. And if I press apply, see what message it gives. Unable to claim branch element is already claimed by user Piper. Name Harish, my machine name and my login name, everything is, and it was claimed and which date and what extract. So everything is given. So until and unless the Piper user releases this hierarchy, other user cannot change it. That means this hierarchy is bold. So how to release claim? Claim is released to release. You can color also. You can color highlight with some color say. Okay, so if you go somewhere at the other hierarchy, it will highlight. So it will highlight all the elements which are claimed. For example, let me rename this also V2515. Apply. If I go somewhere else, color, highlight. So once highlight is again made. You have to just let me unhighlight all first and color. Okay. You have to update first of all, control update. So it will refresh, color, highlight. So it will show these two elements are claimed by your current user. So in order to release it, you have to go unclaim. Either you can selectively unclaim each element by going there and unclaim selected, or in one go you can say unclaim all. So it will give you this message. It is saying that you have made changes. You must save work first and then release the element. So without saving work, you cannot unclaim. Now it is claimed, saved. You can unclaim all, unclaim all. So see, now it is the list is empty. Manage claim list is empty. That means you have no element claims in the current hierarchy, and the hierarchy also become back to normal font. Earlier it was bold font. Now it becomes back to the normal font. Now let me go back here and do a get work, Control G. So I can see the other pipe must have also been. Let me add this. We will identify like this. Drag and drop. I dragged and dropped 2515. And what was this? This wall 1515. Now if I try to change it, right click, rename 16. I will name it. Apply. It is allowing me to do it, and it is claimed. I will save work, and you can see there's unclaim. While saving, you can unclaim also. There's a checkbox. If you check it, you don't have to go to claim list menu. It will unclaim from here also. Save work. Let me go to piping user, get work. You can see the name is changed, and some warning is also given when you get work. One on one design database correctly mapped due to update. So you can ignore this warning for now. This is the administrator has to take some action over here. Otherwise, it can be ignored. But changes are flowing from here and there by save work and get work. Right? This is very important. Claiming, saving work, get work. If anybody has any doubt, you can ask now. Or you can type in chat. I have emailed one macro to each one of you. We have to run that macro. I will assist you in running that, executing that, but that will come in the later part of exercise. Fine. So this is how save work and get works work. There's a little shortcut key which I need to tell you. If you press F2, it will clear the canvas. It will hide the properties window and model explorer, and it will give you more space to work around. If you press F2 again, it will bring back these. So it's like a curtains, curtain on, curtain off. Okay, F2 is the key. Then there's another key for wireline mode. Means as of this is solid mode. Just a minute. So if you press F11, so you can see this is wireline mode. Okay. Let us add equipments also. Equipment area 02, drag and drop. Press F11. You can see this is wireline mode. F11 is a toggle key. So you can switch between solid mode, solid shaded mode, and wireline mode. Okay. All these shortcut hotkeys are given in the appendix, in the last of your manual. Okay. Fine. Now about little bit more about the power wheel. So I told you when you right click, it will open some menu out of which the zoom extent, remove selection and view I have already discussed. There are a few other menus like piping, context menu, and center view. So center view is nothing but to bring the right click the element to the center. For example, it will bring this element to center. If I click this, right click, center view, right? And navigation menu also we have discussed 6 o'clock menu. Navigate to primitives, negatives. Now, when you in the right click, if you press Control, it will open a different menu of save work and get work. There is product options. The option which we go from project tab can be opened directly from here. So you can see Explorer, Forms, Properties, Advanced. So this project tab options can be directly opened from Control, right click, Product Options. Then there is Claim List menu and Control, right click. The one we saw just now, just few minutes before, we saw Claim List menu. Control. There's this AvivaNet menu is of not of the scope of this training. There's another product, AvivaNet. Then there is a search utility, which we will talk in a while. The search utility is very important. And then there is a comment utility. This will be discussed at the later part of the training, comments utility. So two types of right click menu, simple right click without control and control right click. It has different option. There is a third type of right click menu, which is only shown when you are performing any operation. When you are under any executing any particular commands. For example, I will tell you ID command. ID is in AutoCAD, you know what ID command do? It will give you the coordinate of particular point. So if ID is an in canvas command, press enter. So it will ask you to select a point. For example, it will give you different snap points, but it is snapping to the origin. You can see this blue, dark blue circle with a plus sign in between is a snap related to the origin. For example, if I zoom in, it will not zoom into piping elements. It will not select pipe. It will select piping components origin, but it will not select the end terminals as of now. So to switch to a different snap setting, for example, I want to snap this corner. I have to press shift right click. So this is a third type of right click menu. This is not available in usual mode. For example, if I press without any command, without ID command, I was pressing shift right click, it will not open. It will open the right click menu itself. But if you are under any command, for example, ID, or if you are using move command, move command. So M enter is a move command. Select object. Now it shift right click brings this menu. Or if you are using copy command, CO, that we'll discuss. So there are P line snaps, P point snap, item snap, midpoint snap, node snap. So these snaps will be discussed in respective courses also, but for now you can understand these are various snaps. So these are 3D snaps. If you go at 6 o'clock, you see more options here. In more options, there are 2D snaps also. 2D means edges, lines, surface, and all those things. So if you go to more, you will see this is intersection, this is corners, endpoint snap, this is tangent snap, midpoint, nearest. This is laser snap, laser data snap. You can load laser data in E3D and snap those point cloud data. Then this is a distance snap, and then you can go here more center of the circle, parallel, perpendicular, perpendicular from, perpendicular to, quadrant, and extension. Okay, so this is go to close. So shift right click menu, simple, use ID command, shift right click, go to more and use endpoint snap. Endpoint snap is like a square. It can snap the endpoints of any edge, right? Right. If I select this corner, it will give me the coordinate of this corner. Press enter again, so it will finish. Then go back into ID command. So shift right click, for example, shift right click, I will select item. Item means it will snap to the origin, wherever the origin of this element is, or for example, this chair. The origin for this chair is, so whatever is highlighting red is under focus, and that focused element origin will be selected. For example, I selected desk. So the origin of the desk is at the, not exactly on the desk, it is somewhere at the center of the desk geometry. So this is how, so it gives the origin of the chair. Okay. So three types of right click menu: simple right click, control right click, and shift right click, applicable only when you are using an in view command. Whenever it asks to snap a coordinate, snap a point, shift right click menu will work. Otherwise, it will not be working. Please try quickly. Okay. Okay. So different types of snaps can be turned on and off from this bottom. So you can see there's a bottom toolbar at to the right. There's a snap options. Right? Bottom right is snap option. So by default, only these two snaps are active. I will prove it. For example, I press ID. So it is only giving me origin. It is not allowing me to snap any other point. This is because the default snap settings are only activating item and node snap. For example, I select item midpoint, P point snap, press OK. So this is my default setting. I will press ID, use ID command again. So you can see now it is activating the P point snap also. What are P points? We have to discuss in uh, equipment and piping trainings respectively. But you can see it is giving me more snaps now without pressing even shift key, shift right click, it is giving me more options. With shift right click, you can activate any option like item. So it will override all the default setting and it will only give that option. Like shift right click P point. So it will only give me P point. It will not turn on any other types of snaps to reduce the confusion, to avoid the confusion. Okay. So this is snapping. So here there are element snaps, and in graphics these are 2D snaps. As I told, endpoint, midpoint, nearest. Okay. So let me use ID command. I'm using ID command to demonstrate all the functionalities, but there are more commands also. So as I can see, now it is activating the corner snap, nearest snap also. So different types of snap has different type of icons. For example, this is midpoint for line. This is nearest snap. This is corner snap. This is P point snap. Okay. So this was about snap. To activate or deactivate snap, you can use this key. Deactivate means no snapping will be visible. If I bring somewhere near here, it will not snap. Or the shortcut keys, just like AutoCAD, is F3. You can see F3 activates the snap. F3 again deactivates the snap. Sometimes you are working in a very dense area, complex area, and you do not want to, you know, mispick anything. That's how you can use F3 to turn on and off the snap. Okay, there's another command called DI. DI is for measurement of distance. So you can see if I press DI, it will ask me to specify the first point, the coordinate of first point. You can either directly enter coordinate like this, or you can snap some point. So it has picked already some point. Okay. So let me press. If you want to come out of the command, use escape. Let me pick the point. So I've used DI. DI is for distance. So let me activate the snap. This corner to this corner. So it gives me northing and easting as well as the shortest distance between the 2 points. Right. And it also gave me, the angle. What is the angle in that plane? So there is a snap called dynamic hints or F12. If I don't use this dynamic hints, the northing and easting will not be visible. Only the shortest distance will be visible. For example, if I use DI again, shift right click, I will just use corner snap, corner from here to here. So it will just show me this distance. It will not give me northing, easting or angle. It was showing. So if I press F12, it will give me other inputs also. So let me start again by dynamic hints on. So I will use DI. Sorry, shift right click, more from here. So see, it is giving me northing easting. So if you want additional information while using in view commands, you can use dynamic hints. So there's more menu. If you press drop down key, you can go back. So at any stage, you can go back to the previous stage of, for example, this previous stage was selecting the second point. So you can change the second point. Angle 0 degree, it is specifying. Press B, enter, so it will go back to the previous. If you press B 2 times, it will go back to stages. You can keep on pressing B, enter means back. So DI is for distance. M is for move. CO is for copy with base point. ID is for measurement of coordinates. Okay. So you know snap settings, snap activation, deactivation with F3 key, dynamic hints. And then there is okay, let me talk few more things about this snapping and data key means data entry in the coordinates. Let's go back to ID. ID command. See, if I have to enter data or if I am snapping, it will give the coordinate in the ID. ID coordinates. It will automatically pick that coordinate. Now, if I want to lock this easting, I will just, or I want to lock this northing. I have to press tab, navigate to the north and press spacebar. So it will lock. So the northing is fixed, right? But I want to, northing is already fixed. I want to fix the easting with this, right? Or you can fix easting with this. So you can see the blue dot, the actual snap is the blue dot which you see behind the square box. So easting will be picked from this point, but northing is locked. So it is telling the coordinate of this point. Or let us see better with the example of DI, distance command. For example, this locks my northing. Click it. Oh, sorry. DI again. For the first point, I want to use this northing. So I will use to the second text box using tab and press spacebar. So it is locked. But my first point selection is not yet complete. I want to use this easting. So this northing and this easting makes this point this one. So the first point is this and second point is this. So you can see it is giving the distance from this point to this point. So my purpose of telling this is to lock and unlock. For example, ID again. I want to keep the easting 0. So I press 0 and tab. As soon as I press tab, it will lock. But without entering any value, if you want to lock, if you see, there are two things. By entering value, you just have to press tab. After entering value, it will lock the cell. But without entering value you want to lock, you have to press spacebar. And spacebar again to unlock it. Tab, unlock it, lock it. This is spacebar. But as if you enter a value and press tab, it will automatically lock it. No need to press tab, right? Press tab. So it is locked. To unlock it, press spacebar. Getting it? So locking and unlocking the text boxes. Now there are a few more things. I will take di command. I will keep the command simple. I could have shown you for the move command and copy command also, but those are you are not yet ready. So I'm using two simplistic command, distance and ID. Show you the different functionalities. So let me come back to distance. Let me pick this point as a starting. So watch out. Watch this command again. Di. As soon as I pick this, you can see it is asking specify the point, and then there is a small polygon and it is written ABS. ABS means absolute. So this is the coordinate of the point selected with respect to the global origin, which is 0, 0, 0. So where is our global origin first of all? I will press escape, come out. So our global origin is somewhere around here where this green, blue and red axis meet. So this is your global origin. With respect to the global origin or the world, you can say the coordinate of this point, let me use di. So this is the coordinate of the point with respect to the global origin. Click here, and as soon as I press first point, it is the polygon value, the text inside polygon is now relative. So that means whatever point I select second, the coordinate of the point is with respect to the previous point, with respect to this point, right? See, I'm clicking here, it is showing 0, 0, 0. So 0, 0, 0 with respect to itself. So this is how a distance command activates or it works. Di, the first point, it shows absolute value. And the second point, it shows relative value with respect to the first point. Now, if you want to make it absolute also, you can just use shift at the rate. Shift with at the rate is a toggle. So it becomes absolute. See, you can move around here. It will give you absolute value with respect to global origin. But since you are interested in distance, it will, the command eventually will give a distance value, right? But the shift at the rate toggle key, di, is for changing here, and second point is automatically become relative. Use shift at the rate. So it will give you the coordinates in global origin form. But eventually the distance will be between 2 points will be given. Hope this is clear. So these are various forms of inputs you can change between. Now let me show you another thing in this input ribbon ID. So input is being asked in form of easting, northing and elevation, E, N and U. What if you want a polar coordinate system? Polar coordinate, as you know, it asks for distance, radius and angle. Uh, sorry, you have to use this key. So below the escape, there's a tilt key. Below the escape button, there's a tilt key. If you press tilt key, right, this is a distance, angle and elevation. So you can see if I press it again, it changes to cylindrical coordinate. So there are three kinds of coordinate you can work. I will write it here. One is Cartesian. You zoom it here, Cartesian, which is the default one. So this easting, northing, and elevation. Second is uh, cylindrical, distance, angle, and elevation. Angle one in the plan and angle of elevation. So you have to use which key? You have to use tilt key. So this key has to be used to switch between inputs. So below escape, this is the key. I will demonstrate. So let me use distance command and let me change it to cylindrical coordinate. So if I select this, it is giving me distance of this much, angle of 131.1 degree and elevation of 10200 with respect to the global origin. So let me select this, and with relative to this, it automatically switches back to Cartesian system. So the spherical and cylindrical mode can only be brought on demand. So whenever you need it, you have to use the tilt key. Otherwise, it will switch back to the Cartesian form. So again, here you want a Cartesian coordinate with respect to the previous point selected. Just press tilt key. So see, with respect to the previous point, this is 27 degree in the selected plane, but elevation difference is 0. If I select it over here, see the angle is 27 degree only. It is forming an angle, you can see at the bottom. Here it is forming a 90 degree. That 90 degree arc is being formed. I hope you can see this arc. So it is forming an arc in the horizontal plane and the elevation difference of 2000. But I can switch it to, say, again spherical coordinate. So it will show me two angles. It's the angle of elevation and angle in plan. So I can press tilt key again to go back to my Cartesian coordinate. Again, how to shift between relative and absolute. Okay. So relative and absolute, first of all, first point will be always absolute. If the input is asking more than one point, then only that relative and absolute thing will work, because relative is only activated after first point selection. So for example, I am using distance command. In ID command, you will not be able to see. Use distance command. I will snap this corner. So it will be always absolute. I cannot make it relative here. This is the first point. Click here. Now automatically the second point becomes relative to the first point. You can see, but you can see this distance of 2002 meter and northing -1 meter. But I want coordinate here of absolute with respect to the world. So shift at the rate. Shift at the rate. It's a toggle. It becomes ABS. You can see. Again, shift at the rate. It becomes relative. So on demand, whenever you need
Excuse
it,
me. Shift and what?
at the rate. I will write it there. To call it relative and absolute toggle. You have to piece shift plus this key at the rate.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, please try this. This is important. Use distance and ID commands separately and see what is the difference. I give you 5 minutes. Let's
Okay.
go ahead. Hmm. Okay, so I'll tell you a shortcut to remove everything with the keyboard. So this is not a shortcut. You can form a shortcut for any of the menu at the top. You this, for example, this also works in other Microsoft tools. When you press Alt key, it will give you some hotkeys at the top for every menu. For example, I want to navigate to home, so I have to press H for every button. Now there's a hotkey. For example, you want to open, say, which command? Search. So you have to press S2. You can see S2 if I press, so it will open search. Similar, for example, this is my favorite to remove all. Alt V, V for V menu. Again V, this is remove, and E. So it removes all. So the combination for removing all is Alt plus V plus V plus E. So this is very frequently used, Alt V V E. So whatever is there in the draw list, it will remove it quickly. Instead of you going removing different like this, or you can remove from here, just use Alt V V E. It will remove everything. Okay. Now I wish to tell you how to add the connected elements. For example, this is the equipment hierarchy. You don't know where are the piping situated for all the nozzles in this equipment. You don't know because the hierarchy is very long. You are not able to locate it. So you can just right click on this zone, 3D view, add connected. So it will add. Okay, that sorry. Yeah, sorry. On zone it will not work. Sorry, let me do it again. Add the equipment site, equipment area 01. You go to any equipment, you don't know where the pipe of this equipment are there, or you don't remember the number of the pipes, the name of the pipe. So you can just right click, 3D view, add connected. So it will add all the pipe connected to its nozzles. So whichever nozzles are connected and have pipe at the end, it will be added. Similarly, you can go back to any of the equipment, right click, 3D view, add connected. So it will add the remaining pipes. I think it used to work in zone, but I don't know whether they have removed it. Anyways, so individual equipment you can go and use add connected. Similarly, you can do the other way. For example, I'm removing it and adding piping site. Where is site piping area 01? Did I remove it or delete? Just a minute. Okay, okay. It has been renamed. Sorry, I renamed it. Let me put it back to area 01. Sorry, it's taking so much time. Sometimes while sharing, the performance becomes slow. Click rename. Just put it back to. Okay. So I'm adding the piping site. Close this one. Okay, so you want the all equipments connected to this. So I think let's try it on zone. Individual pipe it works, but let me try it on zone. There's some problem. Yes. So let me see if it works in. Say work. Work. Okay. So I'll come back to zone piping area 01, 3D view, add, connected. So it will add any structures. So it will, sorry, what happened? It added supports. Just a minute. Okay, so it has added supports. Support is another thing which are connected to pipes. The support hierarchy is different than the pipe hierarchy, which we will discuss in support training. But if you set on click be on zone and add, it will add the connected support. But to add equipments, you have to go to individual pipes. Right click, add connected. So individual pipes, if you go, it will add the connected equipments. And also you can add 3D view support separately. 3D view add support. So it can add the supports which are there on the pipes, which was already there. We added. We added from add connected, but you can add from add supports individually also. So you can see supports are visible. There are few more things over here in the right click menu. Right click, 3D view. You can say select. So it will select the complete pipe. 3D select. Select in 3D view. Okay. You can remove it. Add it back. So another menu is, for example, if you 3D view, if you remove this, it will remove complete branch. So individual component of the branch is removed, then it will remove the complete branch. See, it does not remove only elbow, it will remove it completely. But if you right click 3D view, remove only. So it will only remove that part. So if you want to remove part of the branch or part of the equipment, you use remove only, or right click 3D view, add only. Let me remove the complete pipe and show you add only. For example, I want to add this elbow only. So add only. So it added only the elbow. Part of equipments or part of branch, if they are added solely without the without the full branch or without the full equipment geometry, you can use add only and remove only. Now I tell you shortcut commands to, for example, you want to remove everything and you just want to add only this pipe. So you have to do in steps. See, traditionally, how will you do? You will remove all and then pull back this pipe. This is how you do. But a shortcut in one step is you use shift key to drag and drop. Shift key to drag and drop. So it will remove everything and just add it. So two step is reduced to one step. Shift key, drag and drop. For example, I want to go to equipment hierarchy and add just this equipment and remove everything. So this is JBB, this is junction box. Shift, remove. It will remove everything and just move my focus to this equipment. So shift, drag and drop is to remove everything and add that element, that particular element only. It is very useful. Or you can use a command rem all, remove all, and add c in single line. Remove everything and add this particular MCC. Right, whatever you are studying, the commands are only executed on the current element, not the selection, only the current element. Remember, then just write rem all, it will remove everything. Or alt VBE also works. Okay, so let me add this electrical area 0 to for now. Complete site. Now, how to search a tag number? If you have named any element, you are not able to locate that in hierarchy. There are two ways. One is database search, and second is you can just type few words. It will predict like whatever you are trying to write. Use the right case. Case. If you are searching in the Explorer over here, the case has to be right. For example, you are looking for equipment name C110. So it will give you all the element in the database which starts with this. So this is my equipment. So it will go here, and you can just drag and drop. Right click. You can say reduce, select. I think it didn't add. Sorry. Okay, it is here, but it is not visible. So the view, it has been added, but sometimes it happens it is not really visible. It appears to be, distorted or cut somewhere. So you have to just right click and zoom extends. So it will be visible. So that was out of the camera. It was not visible properly. So you have to right click, zoom extends. Okay. Or what you can do is like you add this, but suppose it is not visible, 3D view select. So it is selected and press Z enter. Sorry, 3D view select Z enter O enter. It will zoom to that object because first you are selecting. Right click, 3D view select. Don't press to type the command. Don't press the left click. Just use middle click so that it does not lose the focus. Z enter. Hundreds and hundreds of element added, and you are not able to see clearly with eyes. So you can right click, 3D view select, and then Z enter. See, as soon as you start typing, it will unselect it. So that's why I told use middle click to press. Don't use right click. Z enter, O enter. Okay, so but the important thing was, for example, you want to go to site civil area 01. If I write small case site dash civil dash, it will not find because it is case sensitive. Names are case sensitive. So I have to use site capital dash civil. So it will give you all the site civil which sites which contain site CIVI. Now I want to go to use arrow keys, drop down and add it. So previous searches are stored over here. So, you can previous 10, 15 searches are stored here. So you can select any of those. So just be use case sensitive. For example, I want to go to junction box, baby EP, EP, They are all these are junction boxes, and then these are switches of the different terminals of the junction box, which that we'll discuss later on in equipment modeling. So you can see. Okay, this search in the Model Explorer is clear. Okay. Just a minute. Now you can, as I've told you, you can go to any element and right click, rename that. But this rename, since I am a piping user, you can check. I cannot change the electrical one, but you can. Okay, somebody is waiting in the lobby. So you can go to any element, right click, rename. So here you can right click, rename, and say I want to name this as E EL90, although this is not required, but I'm just naming it. So apply, so it will give the name to this. I cannot use a space in the name. Remember, anywhere I cannot use space, so it will give an error. Name cannot contain space. Okay. Now over here, right click, rename. This is 50B9. If I name it to 50-A-9, there is an option to rename only, rename all, or unname. So rename all, when what it will do, if the name is some letter is being changed or it is being replaced, it will replace everywhere in the child or wherever it is asking. 50B9 will become 50A9. Wherever the instance of 50B9 is occurring, it will in branches, in wherever it is in components. So let it rename all. If I do rename all, everywhere it will replace that instance. Apply. So see, even this world was B9 earlier, it becomes A9 and so on. But if I just use rename only, so it will just rename this particular file. It will not change the below hierarchy. Right? Rename all. But it is not changing the reference number. Reference number is still the same. So if reference number is the unique identification of that element in the hierarchy. And you can unname it also. So it will, for example, I want to unname this world C. So you have to click C. So it will update the value. Wherever you go, you have to click C. So it will update the value of the current element name. So you have to unname. For example, click on unname. It will just remove the name. Okay. Unname means unnaming the element. Save work, Control S, save work. Hope it is clear. Just a minute. Okay. Let's see how to view insulation, obstruction, all those things. So I will remove everything, Alt VVE, add piping site again. Just let me see, anything is something. Thing is lying outside the, that's why it is not fitting completely. Okay, what it is. Now you can see the pipes are there, but some pipe might be insulated, but it is not being shown. Or for some elements, some components might have some obstruction volume. What is obstruction volume? Obstruction volume is a soft volume, which is not actually a physical volume, but it is required for operation. For example, the walls have hand wheel up and going up and down. So you want to reserve some space so that nobody else can model in that space. So those are called obstruction volume, which are detected in clash, but normally it is not visible. So how to turn that obstruction volume and insulation volume? So you have to go to view graphics, view tab, graphics. In representation tab, you have a couple of things over here, out of which insulation visibility, obstruction visibility. So here insulation, you want to source solid insulation or some translucent. For example, I fix it to 50% and apply. So you can see those pipes which are insulated are showing some translucent insulation equal to the insulation thickness. So make it 75, it will be better. Now you can see those pipes which are insulated is showing translucent. Similarly, there is obstruction volume. Obstruction, let's make it 50. Apply. So it will show some obstruction volume, especially the walls and control walls. You can see the wall operator height, operator hands clearance, and some piston up and down clearance is given to walls. So these are defined in catalog. A user cannot define these. All these dimension for standard fittings and standard walls, flanges, everything is defined in catalog. For equipments, you can define in the model itself. Equipments are made out of primitives, mostly primitives. So you can define those volume in the model itself. Right. So here you can turn it off at any moment. Apply. So everything is back to normal. Okay. Now I would also like to show you some centerline geometry and tubular geometry. Let me press F2 first. Oh, it is gone. Shit. This will also be gone. So let me press this and it will dock to the side and press once here, dock to the side. This is T, 3 points. So walls are shown like this. So wall with hand wheel are shown like this, wall without hand wheel like this. This one. This is screwed elbow. This is reducer. Reducer here. I think that was switch. This is switch. This is reducer. And you can see butt welded points that is showing the small spheres around it. I can bring back the solid geometry anytime. Apply. And then there is a option to draw holes. Holes drawn. Apply. Just a second. Okay. Sorry. First of all, the flanges have holes. So there is a separate menu here to draw flange hole or not. If I press apply, so it will give you a visibility of flange holes. Okay, The companion flanges does not have holes. This is some modeling problem, but yeah, it can draw the holes here. And you can set a different anti-aliasing level for, for more precision, but default is 4. And you can draw tracing, but tracing is not here in any line. So you can use tracing. Okay. So F11. Yeah, so it is giving some center lines. Center line in the piping components also. Right? Okay. So all this is for flange bolt. If you don't apply flange bolt, it will show some dotted line circles. But this hole drawn is for other, like for example, let me show you the equipments. So you can see at the nozzles, there's some hole drawn, but you can turn it off. Apply. Becomes like this. Apply a hole here. So other than piping flanges, you can use this hole drawn to draw the negative geometry. So understood the insulation, holes and everything. Okay, about the arc tolerance. Yeah, this, as you can see, this is not a perfect circle. This is made out of combination of many lines. So if you reduce the arc tolerance, see maximum can be 10 and minimum can be 0.1. But if you make it 0.1, the performance will be little slow. So standard value is 1. So if I press apply, so it becomes a perfect circle. So this is what arc tolerance is. The standard value is 1, which is optimum for performance and the graphics. And mass arc tolerance is used in calculation of weights and COG. So that we'll see in model utilities training tomorrow, second half. Then there's something called levels. First of all, this needs not to be edited normally, but you should know what levels are. So levels are nothing but 0 to 10 number of levels for any element. For example, if you check this cylinder, it has some level. Let's see the properties. Home. So it has a drawing level up from 0 to 10. So 0 to 10, the geometry is same. So levels are specified. Let me, levels have ranges from 0 to 10. And what is the use of level? Used to show different geometries of elements, right? So if you want to show a different geometry from 0 to 3 level, geometry is like say simple geometry, and from 3 to 10 you want to show full geometry, that can be done. That we'll see when we model equipments, and for piping it is set in catalog, or there is specific level for obstruction. 9 to 10, any primitive. For example, you want to make a tube bundle removal space for heat exchanger. You make a obstruction volume for that, and you assign the level 9 to 10. How that is assigned, that we'll see in individual training. But keeping everything in mind, 6 is the standard level for all elements, default level. So if I say here the level of this cylinder is 0 to 10, that means in all the levels, the geometry will be same for the cylinder. If I make it 9, 10, it will be this geometry only for level 9 to 10. There are 10 levels, just remember, and the purpose of them is to show different geometries, which is not always required for structures. For example, structure here, you can see this is 6. I will show you some difference. Specifically, this is used in case of structures. Let me show you. You can type at the top pipe rack and press enter and shift add this. Anyways, so you can see the geometry, especially the arc here, over here, the radius in between the flange and the web is shown. If I make a different geometry, say level 3, and apply, so it becomes, so this is a simplistic geometry for a structure in level 3 up to level 5, I guess. I don't remember the exact. So 0 to 5, okay, 0 to 4 then. So this is the current level which you can set here. Okay, 0 to 3 only. So from 4 to 0 to 3, the simplistic geometry is there. And from 4 to 10, because the original was 6, so it has this geometry in level 4 to 10. So 6 is the standard default level for showing the geometry, right? So this become clear. Insulation, obstruction, levels, arc tolerance, holes. Okay. Right. Let's add equipment area 01, civil area 01, site dash civil area 01. So I'm adding I will also add equipment area 01. I will add HVAC area 01. Oh, there's nothing. Okay. Let me add cable area 01. This is for electrical. So you can see it added cable trays and all. Okay. I want to demonstrate the clipping functionality. So what is clipping? Clipping is used to clip a certain part of model. Suppose you are working exclusively on some part of the model and you don't want to show other part of the model. So you can clip the model. From view, the clip menu over here, clip group, and inside that there are different options. So to begin with, you can start clipping. Say you are working on this to this. Two element I've selected. I can clip a boundary around these two elements, and whatever inside those boundary will be visible, outside boundary will not be visible. So you get a create clip. current selection. So it will make a boundary around these two elements, and whatever inside that boundary it is visible, and outside that boundary will not be visible. You can expand and contract this volume. I'll show you, but before that, you want to hide this yellow modification box. You can go to modify, and you can see wherever the section plane is cutting, it is showing some capping. So, right over here, this is called capping. If you want to show a cap, you can click this. It will show. Don't want to show cap, you can click on this capping menu. So it will show the section plane. Now, if you want to increase the volume or decrease the volume, you can click on modify box. It will show you that modify box. Double click on this box. As soon as you don't double click on the equipments or piping, you double click on the box. It will show you some grips around that box. So each face of the box has an extension grip. You can see this one. You bring your mouse near any of the grip. For example, you want to increase this. Click this, it will become red, and you can drag it wherever you want. So it will increase the area. For example, this one. The volume of the grip is increased. You can reduce the volume also, right? Or you can enter some value manually. For example, click this and there's a value over here. So for example, it is calculating distance from the bottom. See the white line, the face distance from the bottom face. So it is 19,000. Let's make it 25,000, right? Or what you can do is go to the drop down before entering value. You can use expand the box. So what it is doing, it is calculating value from the current point up to, you can say, you can expand the box fully by 500 mm. So it increases 500 mm in all directions. Drop down, expand E. You want to increase the box by 2500 in all aspects. So this is how it is increase. Once you are done, you can move the modify box. Start working wherever you were working. To bring back everything, whatever was clipped, bring back, just uncheck this clip. Clip. This is how clipping. So clipping has, you can also, instead of current selection, you can do current element. So whatever current element is, it will clip the complete volume. Then double click the extension grip. So you can relocate the grip. So there are three kinds of grip. One is extension grip, this one. One is rotation grip. You can rotate. See this one. And then there's a relocation grip, the center. So you can move the clip box somewhere over here. Getting it? Rotation grip in three different planes, extension grip at all faces, and relocation grip means change the center of the clip box. Once you are done, you can change the modify, turn off everything, just press clip again. There's one good feature in the clip. So clip modification is clear. I will use this add within volume. So what happens is I will remove everything. Let me add this just exchanger. Let me one second. Let me add this. Let me start by clipping the current selection. So it will So why it is showing this much volume for this exchanger? So we'll go back to, I'll make you understand. View graphics, turn on the obstruction. You see there's a tune bundle removal obstruction volume. That's why it is clipping completely. So if you clip current element of selection, it will consider this volume completely, which is not visible by default. Anyways, let me increase this volume in the height. Now you don't know what is surrounding this exchanger. You don't know what all pipes are there, or even if it is there, you don't know the hierarchy where to add. So it gives you an opportunity to add whatever inside this volume you can add within the volume. Add within the volume partially, wholly, or there's an advanced menu where you can selectively pick what elements you want. So partially and wholly means, partially means any element falling partially inside this volume will be added. Wholly means only those elements which are completely within this volume will be added. So if I add wholly, so you see it adds the pipe. Add partially, so it will half of this equipment is falling half inside it, but it is added. Then there's a advanced menu where you can add or remove. For example, add all, like piping, equipment, cable, HVAC, walls, whatever is there. Add, so which we have already done. You can remove partially and wholly. So it will remove everything. Add wholly, everything. Or selectively, first of all, let me remove selectively. I want to just remove the piping. Use selected elements, remove wholly the piping. So piping is add structure, SLH, whatever, add it. Let me increase the volume, then only. So add pipe, equipment, structure. SLH is for stair, ladders, and handrails. That is excess waste. Cable, HVAC, and click on add wholly. Or let me use partially. So it will see whatever partially falling inside this volume were added. Similarly, you can remove partially only the cable. I don't want cable elements. Modify box and work on their added clipped model. Once you are done, you can unclip the whole model. Hope the clip is clear. I give you 5 minutes to practice this, and we will proceed ahead. I will be back in 5 minutes. Please try this, or I will tell you the exercise page number also. A second. Page number 58 of your manual. Just read it through. I will ping you. I will start after 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Any doubts, let me know. Okay, so I assume no doubts. So let's proceed to next chapter, uh, making new views, making new 3D views or duplicating the view. For example, this is only one view. If I write plan, you want plan in one view and you want say elevation in second view. So how to make a new view? First of all, okay, before that, there's important thing which needs to be told is draw list. Uh, Let me add this. Make sure if clip is off. Sometimes it creates confusion. The clipping is off. Uh, Before discussing new view, let's discuss the draw list. If I click on this view tab, draw list button, over here you can see it shows me the content of my current draw list. Means whatever added in the 3D view. Over here, it's a list of equipment, sub equipment. You can see type. The major elements, the significant elements are shown, not the primitives. If I add piping also, so it shows me the branches, the equipment, sub equipment. So if I go here, for example, I right click, navigate to. So wherever I go, I can navigate to in the Explorer also. So it will show me the content of my draw list. If I select some of the, say, this equipment over here, it will show me the graphical selection is the equipment. And primitive of this equipment is these one. Okay, sorry. Primitives of the selected branch. Or say if I select C1101 as equipment, it will show me the primitives of the selected equipment. So there are three tabs. One is draw list, complete draw list, what is the content. If I remove this, for example, uh, first of all, what is this E? Just a second, give me a second. Select CE in the list. Yeah, the current element can be selected in the list. So yes, this is P1302B. Select C in the list. Okay, so if I remove this from 3D view, 3D view remove, so it will be gone. If I click on this, it says it is not in the list. This is show you the dynamic list that whatever you add and remove, it is updated over here. For example, this branch, you can click and remove selection. So this branch is removed. Similarly, couple of branches, if I click remove selection, so these are removed from selection. So the list is getting updated, right? If I select, right click, navigate to primitives, it shows me box selected. So the cylinder is the graphical selection. My graphical selection is cylinder. If I increase it by pressing control, dish, nozzles, so it is updating. Right. So the primitive tab is froze because we are already the graphical selection is primitives only. Okay, now press escape to come out of this mode. So important thing is there are 125 elements in that significant element in that raw list. These, for example, this one. I navigate here, click on select C in the draw list. It shows the current color of the selected element. I can go and change it to say uh, green or say this one pink. So the color is changed. If you go somewhere else, it becomes pink. Similarly, say select C in the list, this one. change the color to cyan. So presently it is showing this blue color because it is the current element. That's why if you navigate somewhere else, it will show the list. And you can increase or decrease that transparency also. So you can control individual. Well, we make it. See, it is in transparency. You can mark the edges. So edges are kind of some boundary along the equipments. You want to show it or hide it. So this is actually showing and hiding. This is not removing, but this is show and hide. So it is still in the draw list. You can see it is still in the draw list, but it is hiding. It's just like initially I told you, hide selected, sorry, or hide selected, hide selected. So this is being hidden. You want to show it again, you can show it again. So this is what draw list is, the current content of your view. The current content of view is visible over here. Okay. Now, okay, we have discussed all this. Let me discuss auto color thing. Auto color, I will come back to view. I know I have to do it next, but few things needs to be discussed before it. So what is auto color? In view, auto color. If I turn off auto color, anything which I add, so by default auto color is on. Anything which I add will be added in a single color. For example, the one which is added is already added with auto color because it was added before this auto color was turned off. But for example, if I add this, it is added in single color. So auto instead of system defining the auto color, the color, you use your manual color. For example, I want to add whatever I'm adding with this pink color. So I can drag and drop. Next thing I want to add brown color. So you decide what color it will be added in. See, these are added in brown color. And similarly, you have to choose the color. You have to select the solid transparency and all those things. And you can select monochrome. Monochrome means single color, all elements. The background will become white and all will become uh, single color, grayish color, right? So auto color means it. There are some rules defined for which your admin will define, and then system will add accordingly. So if you want to refresh the color with auto color, you have to remove it and then add it back. So auto color for equipment is that golden yellow color. So all equipments are added in golden yellow. So this is the default auto color rules. For piping, it is green color. For cable way, it is accordingly blue, cyan color, and rules can be set. Let's see. If you wish to add with different color, you can select a color from here, say pink, add it back. Turn off auto color. Individual pipes can also be added. Well, see, you select the color. But individual pipe color can also be defined in auto color rules. That has to be configured at project level. Right? This was about auto color and the draw list we have discussed. Let's open another view. So for another view, let's take a suitable environment like piping area 01, civil area 01, drag and drop, and equipment area 01. So this is view 1. At the bottom, you can see there is a caption for this current view, 3D view 1, draw list 1. That means there is only one view at this moment and there is one draw list active. So there can be multiple draw list and multiple views. You need to associate a view with a draw list. Let's watch it. Let me make it plan in this view. Go to view tab. In views group, there are a couple of options. Copy to a separate view, copy to a clone view, copy to a local view. Okay, then new grid plane view. So first of all, let me copy this view to a separate view. What happens? It will open another view with the, so copy to a separate view. Separate view means it will change the draw list. Means the draw list will be independent, not change exactly, but draw list will be independent. For example, I remove it. I remove this one and this one and this one, but there will be no effect in this view. I remove from draw. So you can see the caption 3D view 1, draw list 1. But here 3D view 2, draw list is 2. That means its draw list is independent. Let me arrange it to looking north. Okay. And you can also arrange them vertically. Right click, new vertical tab group. So see, both the draw lists are independent here. One is ISO, you can say ISO, and one is looking north. You can arrange them vertically or horizontally also. Move to previous tab group. So first it will move again to previous tab group and new horizontal group. You can type separate commands in separate views. Okay. So this was separate view. Let me right click. It was full screen view. I close that. Now what happens if I do copy to a clone view? Clone view means their draw list will be same. If I remove something from one view, it will remove from other view also. So this is clearly visible from 3D view 1, draw list 1, 3D view 2, draw list 1. So draw lists are common. For example, let me new vertical tab group. Let me format and let me make it plan here. And let me remove these two equipment backspace. So it removes from both views. So this is a cloned view. Draw lists are common for both the views. Let me remove this, close this. So clone and separate are clear. Now there is third thing called to a local view. Local views are made for individual entities. Like for example, I want to make a local view of these two pumps. Select this, copy to a local view. So it forms a separate draw list. I want to analyze these two pumps separately. So draw list is separate for sure because draw list 2 is there. View as current view and to a clone view, right? New horizontal. Okay, one second. So you can arrange like this, or you can close the views. But one view has to be opened all the time. That is 3D view 1. Okay. If you close it anyhow, uh, cannot be closed. You can float it. The one view has to be open every time, all the time. And if I press current view, it will show me the properties of the current view. In view tab, current view, it will show me the properties of current view. So the name is 3D view, or I can name it anything like plant, something you can name it a plant. Important thing is background here. You don't want to show graduated. It will show pure black and change the color. You want to show graduated, will graduate. Capping is required when you clip. Capping should be active or not. Some brightness, intensity can increase, decrease. Reflections are shown here. You can see some dark shadows along the borders. See how it is getting a little darker at the edges. You want to show the power compass or not, this one. You want to show world axis, easting, northing, and elevation everywhere. So this will be visible. So it will be visible at the leftmost corner. Then some effects are there, shaded effects. You want to wire line. Do you want to show outlines or not? Because you can see there are some outlines around here, right? You want to show shadows. So shadows are, you can see some effect of shadows. And outline translucent elements. When you turn on translucency, so translucency on that element, do you want outlines or not? Then there is a projection, a perspective. The perspective, it's just, perspective view is, what perspective use. If you see, how can I explain? Mm, so this is perspective. If I make it parallel, see, the ends are converging. In perspective view, parallel view, ends are not converging. It will be more apparent in a very long distance. If the pipeline is too long, then it becomes more clear. But it is a very small view. Default setting is parallel, and rotate about model or about eye. So model, wherever you start rotating, it will. So there is a line of sight. When you view the model, there is a line of sight. For example, uh, you view your eyes is here, and the point of focus is here. Now you want to rotate the model about, this is called model point, and this is called eye point. So when you rotate, the default is wherever you click in the model. But if you want to rotate about eye, you can click this, but this is sometimes difficult to understand. So wherever your eye is, it will rotate the model around your eye. So so individually for every view, you can set these properties. Okay. This is view settings. Save the work. Now these views are complete. Copy to a separate view, cloned view, and local view. Then altogether you can make a new view. Click on new. So it will make a blank view without anything adding in it. So it's a view, drawless 2. You have to separately add the whatever you require here. This was in separate view. This is very similar to separate view, but in separate view we were copying the contents of previous view. But here we are making new view altogether. Right, the settings and content is copied to separate view, but new view creates a new view from scratch. Okay, let me close it. Now, okay, there's a third type of view called grid plane view. But for grid plane, we need to understand what are grids. Okay, let's talk about grids. So, as you know, in plants, there are plant grids which are used especially for structures, from which the reference is taken for different positioning different elements in plants. So especially the columns or the beams are taken as grids. So here in E3D we have a special functionality for making plant grids, or even the local area grids can be made. Some example is already given, but first let me add this pipe rack and then we'll understand. At the top, type PIPERACK pipe rack and press enter. This is one structure. Add it. Pipe rack is added. I've added piping area 01, civil area 01, equipment area 01, and this pipe rack individually. Now I go to, you can type at the top reference grids. That will go to reference grids hierarchy. This is a grid world, GRIDWL grid world, reference underscore grid. Inside it, there are different grids. You can see plant grid, pipe rack grid, equipment grid. So if I add the pipe rack grid, so you can see it adds some linear grids, right? And it marks the grid numbers also. So for example, this is P1.4, 1.3, 1.2, 1.1, and these are different elevation. This is so this grid was used to make the pipe rack. Pipe rack was made when it was modeled. It was modeled on this grid. Okay, so the X labels and Y labels are shown and the elevation labels are shown. So how to make these grids we will cover later on. But for now, I'm showing you what are grid plane views. First of all, if I click on any of the label of the grid, it will select the complete grid. Full grid it is selected, you can see. Now, okay, rotate a little bit. If I want to select an individual plane, for example, I just want to select this P2. So you have to use very similar to equipment, right click, navigate to grid plane. The particular plane is selected. So rest of the model become translucent. Okay, once you select one individual plane, you can go to grid plane view and it will clip this grid plane. You can see it will make another view, access P13 grid view, and it's a clipped view actually, right? It will clip 100 mm in front and 100 mm in the back, and you can visualize view. Select again one of the, so for example, I want to analyze this tier. I select this grid plane and this 4800 plane is selected. While this is selected, you have to go to grid plane view and see. Automatically, the direction of the grid plane is also set, and 100 mm above, 100 mm below. So if you want to increase the elevation, you can increase. See, this is a clipped view. It opens elevation 4 grid view. It's a clipped view. And if you want to modify, click on modify, Double click on the clip box as usual and increase the volume. Okay, and turn off the modify box again. By default, it will clip 100 mm above, 100 mm below, or 100 mm in front and 100 mm in the back. This is what grid plane view. Grid plane view is taking the clip view of a particular plane in the grid. So it can be used to take a quick snapshot. For example, let me select this particular plane, right click, plane, and plane view. And you can take a quick snapshot and send it to, any discipline. You can use print screen, but there's a utility. Sorry. In the view tab, copy image. So copy image, you can copy image with different resolution. For example, this 800 into 600, it will copy. It's in the clipboard. Go back anywhere and paste it. So view tab, copy image, smaller one. Go back wherever you want to paste it. It will just take the 3D view. Whatsoever is visible in 3D view, it will take a image of that. So it will give you some dimensions also. You can see F11. But this is not a complete drawing. It's just for quick reference to, interdiscipline uh, data sharing or some information you want to pass. Quickly try this, please. I added the grid from. You have to type this area 01 underscore pipe rack underscore grid. Then you need to add the grid. Close it and select one of the grid plane and click on grid plane view. Try it quickly. Drop a message in the message box if you want me to show it again or anything you want me to repeat. I will repeat. Hello. Hope you can hear me. I was on mute. Sorry. So I was saying, let's proceed. if you don't have any questions, we'll take a break for our Indian colleagues and myself at 1, that is 20 minutes from now. So before that, I will like to let you know how to make your own site and zone, or you can start making your own hierarchy. So in general tab, be at the world, can be at the world level and create site. Okay, it's read only DB. I hope in system user it will not give this. Why this read only DB is coming is a reason, because you do not have write access to it. But let me go in system user quickly. This session has some problem. Let me close it and open again. So system X time X MDB all model. Okay. So be at the world level, go to general. So first topmost element, as you know, for any kind of work is site and zone. First create a site. So you can name it as CTCI dash training dash site. There's a purpose here. You can select any of the purpose, but it is not compulsory. You can skip this for now. And there's a attribute buttons. If you want to set any other attributes like CTCI training, you can give space in description and any other attributes, but not in the name. Okay, so this way you can do and click OK. Thereafter, you need to make zone inside this. So while you are standing at this site, you can press zone. Don't stand at world and click on. It will say you cannot create a wrong hierarchy. So it will give an error at that point. If you are standing at the wrong element, you will not be able to create. Zone cannot be created under world. It can be only created under site. So be at site, click on zone, and you can say CTCI equipment, one zone. And if you want to select, you can select purpose. Okay, equipment is not there. So this list is configurable. Equipment is there. You can select equipment. Okay. Similarly, you can make more zone, CTCI piping. You can select purpose piping if it is there. Okay, pipe. Create zone, say CTCI structure. I'm just creating randomly. STRUCTURE. Steel. Okay. And say CTCI cable tray. C cabling. So these 4 zones I have made. So it can be decided by our administrator. Okay. Fine. So further elements we will do afterwards. But before that, I want to execute the macro which I have emailed to everyone. Let me know if you have not received the macro. I will email you individually. But if you have received, please follow the instruction. So I have emailed you everyone a macro called trasite.mac. So you can save that macro anywhere in your local machine. And what you have to do is just stand on the world. You have to just stand on world, open command line. The command line is open. Make sure you are standing on the world, open command line, and just drag and drop this macro in the command line. Drag and drop the macro in the command line. What it will do, it will make a just dummy model, uh, just a quick demo model for you to work on. So this is why, because this is given in exercises also. So it will be constantly referring to this model. So if anybody is not able to run or getting any error, please put it in chat. I'll see to it. Take 2 minutes to save the macro somewhere and open command line and just drag and drop in the command line. You have to drag in command line, not in 3D view, remember. Okay. Okay. So I suppose everyone has run this macro and able to reproduce this model. So this model is nothing but you can see this is a site named training site. Inside that there is piping zone, civil zone, equipment zone, and uh, structure zone. Now let's begin playing around this model. For example, this one, this equipment. I want to copy this equipment just in the north direction with a distance of 500. So there are a couple of ways you can use the forms, copy, offset, and all those things. But let me show you by in canvas command. So there's a command called CO. You can see CO. It is asking select the base point. Just like AutoCAD, you have to select a base point from which to copy. So if you want to copy from origin to origin, you can just use shift right click and item. So it will just pick the origin of this, the datum or origin, whatever you call it, of this equipment. So this is the base point, and then as soon as you select, it will give you some image, right, around copying it. Sometimes it appears to be jammed somewhere. It is not moving. This is because of your snap. The snap is active, so it is snapping some points. So to have a better visibility, you can turn off the snap by using F3 key. So I'm okay. Okay. Yeah. So see, but if you want to give us a specific distance in the north, so you can specify 0 in the east, say 1500 mm in the north, and 0 in the elevation. Okay, 1500 is less. Let's say it's even less, 5 meter. See, if you write 5000 or if you write 5m, it will automatically convert that to 5 meter. 5m means 5 meter. 5000 current units are mm, so you have to write 5000 mm then. Or you can write 5 ft, 5 feet, 5 in, 5 inches. So it will automatically convert to the current units, which is So if you append the unit, it will automatically convert to the current unit. Right? Press enter. So it is copied. So it makes copy of tank 1. And another copy you want to make in the west direction. So you have to write minus 3000, whatever the value is. Right? Minus 4000, let's make it. So unless you press escape, it will keep on asking to make a copy of this. So you can see it has named this element copy of 2, something like this. So you can go to right click any of the elements. Instead of copy, you can say this is, and make sure you make rename all, say rank 1501, and then click on rename all, apply. So it rename everything inside it also. Similarly, this, without closing this window, you can click CE. So it will update the name of the current element, and I will name it as 1571. Rename all, apply. So you have to rename. It will initially make like copy of something. Now, this was copy operation. I will show you move operation. So move is M enter, select the object, enter. Similar move is very similar to copy, except that it just moves the element, it does not copies. So you have to select a base point, shift right click. I will select, say, P point. P point. The top P points will be studied and detailed in equipment training, but assume that every face of the primitive, for example, the cylinder top and down has P point, and the center origin also a P point. Apart from that, uh, the edges also a P point. This is edge, center edge. So these are edges of the cylinder. So these are some kind of snapping points available, right? So I want to move the cylinder from this point, or sorry, full equipment, and then you can see. So if I want to convert it to polar coordinates, for example, I will press the tilt key. I want a distance. First of all, I want a distance of angle of 45-degree, elevation of 0, and distance of 5, radius of 5 meter. So from the original position, it was copied at an angle of 45-degree and 5 meter distance. It was moved actually, sorry. So M enter is move. Let's see, I move it in a more complex manner. I want to align the easting of both of these equipment. How will I do it? Right. So M enter again. Base point, I want to pick the origin, so I will pick the item snap. Now I want to match the easting. I just want to match the easting. I don't want to change anything else. So I will lock the northing tab 0, elevation tab, enter. And to pick the easting, I will just, as soon as or you can pick this one. So you can see it is showing a ghost image, translucent image before even moving. The dot is the actual position, which will be the final position. The dot in the right hand side. You can see the easting is matched. Want to change and snap it to the relevant point. This is the trick to match coordinates. So move and copy is clear. Now, if you want to move individual entities of the, so for example, you want to move the base a little bit. So you have to select the entities by navigating primitives. Select primitives. I want to select this one. So in the base, there are a couple of three entities. So you have to select control. Okay, what happened? Okay, so control is selected. So you can use M enter, or in the right click menu, the same command is there. Right click move. Again, you have to select a base point. So I will go to graphics, 2D snap. I will pick this point and I just want to move it, say 100 mm, 200 mm upwards. So 0 in the easting, 0 in the northing, and just 200 mm up. So I have moved the individual primitives of the equipment by navigating on the relevant primitives. Right? Fine. So this is how you do basic operations. Now we are near to the break time for your Indian colleagues and myself also. So we'll take a 30 minutes break and resume at 1:30 Indian time. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So see you after 30
Okay. Thank you.
minutes.
See you.
Bye.